Crazy Pat Robertson is at it again, claiming that gender transition is an attack of the enemy against human beings, claiming that Satan is the cause of people wanting to transition from one to the other, instead of it being a neurological thing, because gender dysphoria disorder is something that exists. The brain and the body are not of the same, so people change so that the body matches what the brain feels itself to be.
It's almost as if there's a satanic move to keep people from having children. There's a move, of course, to have abortion on demand. So we've killed about 60 million unborn babies in our society.
Okay, so right from the get-go, he brings out paranoia, because to believe that there is an evil force or some kind of force out to get you is just paranoia, plain and simple. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, also delusions. A lot of religious people have paranoia. They also have pronoia, and they suffer from delusions of persecution and delusions of grandeur. So he, straight off the back, shows some craziness by claiming that it is a satanic thing that's going on, that's, getting people to, want to have abortions, and it's not either due to financial reasons or that, it was an accidental pregnancy even though they were using birth control and condoms, or it was something else that happened and they cannot or will not raise the child, or want to bring it to full term, because people have the choice or not if they want to have a child, and if they don't want to, they truly don't even need a reason as to why they don't want to have it. It's just plain and simple. But, being a crazy religious person, you cannot fathom the idea as to why somebody wouldn't have a child. So their go-to thing is, oh, it is Satan that's doing all of this. Though the funny thing is, if you look in the Bible, I forgot the passage exactly, chapter and verse, but it's called the curse of the bitter water. If a husband accuses the wife of cheating, they will be brought to the priest in the tabernacle, and the priest will take some holy water along with sprinklings of the dust of the floor. I don't know why it has to be the dust of the floor, which is gross, but it will be mixed together and the woman will drink it. And if she has cheated, the womb will become barren, and if there is an unborn fetus inside, that fetus will die, which is an abortion. So to say that the Bible doesn't support abortion is a falsehood, along with all the other passages where God has either made women barren, or killed the baby, or told people, or well, quote unquote, told people to, kill either a fetus or a baby. Many verses in there in the Bible that has showcase people killing pregnant women. So to say that the Bible truly cares about an unborn fetus is quite laughable. But it also shows how they cherry pick how they want to view the Bible. So let's just continue.
And the consequences of that to the women who've had these abortions is very profound. now the devil has found a new way to keep people from bearing young in the image of God, and to think that these people will then be permanently neutered. They will not be able to be married, to have successful families. They won't have children to look after them in their old age. I mean,
Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, he's saying they would be neutered. That's not even what happens whatsoever. They won't be able to get married and have kids and have, a family. This just shows more craziness, okay? Because you can transition and adopt. You can still get married. There is no law barring you from getting married. But I guess in Pat Robertson's crazy mind, because they transitioned, they're not supposed to get married. It's just this just shows how crazy people like Pat Robertson are, and how crazy religious people are, in my opinion. Well, the extremely religious. You got the mildly religious, they're a bit less crazy, but they still have the paranoia problems to deal with, and which just still shows a bit of craziness. But yes, people that have transitioned can still get married. They can have kids. They can have, a successful relationships with people. I mean, as long as they're not, a bigoted person, the one dating the one that transitioned. So there is this idea that, they can't marry and stuff. It's just so far out there. It just shows more insanity on his part.
they're throwing away their whole future on this nonsense that comes about in this politically correct environment. And to think that we're allowing this to happen, I commend these mothers who are fighting for this, but to think that a doctor has got to go undercover and be anonymous in order to speak out against this thing, because she would lose her position as a medical professional if she...
Okay, I personally haven't kept up with a whole lot of, doctors possibly getting fired for, being against gender transitions, but it is highly doubtful that there are doctors being fired or going undercover and speaking out anonymously about all this, because there's never been anything in the news about it. So it's just it's just more shit that Pat Robertson is pulling out of his ass about all this. This is what a lot of religious people do. They make up their own fucking bullshit and then try to convince, well, there's no trying. He's probably obviously convinced a lot of his followers that all this is true, that, it's, doctors are, fleeing for their lives because they're being attacked by people or losing their jobs over being against gender transitions. This is why it's a cult, because you can make up whatever you want and your followers will believe it without any research of their own.
She spoke out against what is now the political move. We cannot allow this to happen in our country, ladies and gentlemen. It is an attack of the enemy against human beings. God says, be fruitful and multiply and subdue the earth and possess it. Be fruitful and multiply.
Your lisp is kind of annoying. It's probably due to his false teeth. But anyways, there's, what I just remembered. Surrogate mothers. If, let's say a guy transitions to be a woman, she can still have a surrogate mother to bring about a child with their DNA if they don't want to adopt a child. But it's just crazy. Just no matter how many times I listen to religious people, it still just blows my mind. The type of stuff that they truly believe. It just. I mean, how do you wake up every day and look yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm being attacked by Satan, and humans are under threat of from Satan to, you know, make people go from being one to the other. And it's just, I mean, how do you live your life in constant fear? And then to believe that your God is this all-powerful, all-knowing being, but is still allowing one of his creations to cause so much suffering towards other creations that they've made, and still claim that there's some kind of love there. It's just crazy delusions. And somehow this is normal. This is one problem with religion. It turns various negative stuff into some kind of normalized idea, and it's just too crazy. It's just sometimes hard to fathom.
But the devil says, oh no, you're creating boys and girls, young babies, in the image of God, and we won't permit that. So we are just a bunch of suckers buying into a lie, and it just breaks your heart to see it happen.
Okay, like I was saying before, if your God is all powerful, all knowing, and somehow one of your lesser creations is doing something, I mean, if everything's part of God's plan, then if this is the case, then it's part of God's plan for, Lucifer, Satan, the devil, whatever you want to call them, to do this. So, in essence, it is technically good, since all things God does is good. Ooh, crazy Pat Robertson. Yeah, listening to him is always funny. Though sometimes it hurts my brain listening to these people. But thanks to the Right Wing Watch for these videos, I always enjoy getting clips from them. Great channel to also watch if you kind of want to make your brain hurt listening to some of these crazy people.